So have you been listening to us for a while? You know about vibration? Pretty much. You understand that law of attraction is the engine that manages all of this, and that it is tuned to vibrational frequencies? Do you understand that everything has a vibrational frequency? Do you understand that your manifestations that will soon manifest have vibrational frequencies? And that if before it manifests, you achieve vibrational harmony with the frequency of it, then it comes to you faster. Do you understand that abundance has a vibrational frequency? Yeah? And can you imagine what it feels like? What would the vibrational frequency of abundance feel like if you were going to put words to it? It would feel like ease. It would feel like freedom to choose, certainly. It would feel like eagerness. It would feel like clarity. The vibration of abundance feels like fresh air. It feels like clear path. It feels unlimited. It feels always flowing. It feels abundant, meaning never ending, always flowing. It doesn't feel pinched off, and it doesn't feel like jealousy, and it doesn't feel like worry, and it doesn't feel like fear. It feels like fun. It feels like sureness. It feels like certainty. So let's say that you're standing in a what-isness of less abundance than you want. If you can take your attention away from your perceived manifestation of not enough, and you can focus upon something else that feels like fun, or something else that feels unlimited. In other words, you can use subjects other than the subject of money, which may feel like not enough every time you think about it. You can focus upon other things that feel like fun, that feel unlimited, that feel like clarity, that feel like fresh air. You can practice the seed vibration of abundance by staying off the subject if the subject calls something different from you. You see what we're talking about? A while back we said, if you're working on abundance, if abundance is something that is important to you, then take money out of the equation. Because there is so much abundance that is abundantly around you that you can tune yourself to the frequency of that. What's something else you want? Usually it falls into a handful of categories. You want money. You want a lover. You want someplace really great to live. You want a body that feels good. So let's say that your intent is for a lover who isn't there. A lover. What does a lover feel like? What does it feel like? What does being in love, what does a lover feel like? What's it feel like?
Exhilarated, high.
Feels happy, feels high, feels
Loving. Appreciation. Fun.
pretty damn good. Feels like well-being, feels like homecoming, feels like security, feels like appreciation, feels like being appreciated, feels effortless, feels like ease, feels natural, feels like desire. In other words, if you can get to the general vibrational reason behind what you want, which is why do I want it? The question, why do I want this thing will bring to you. Then we know you can begin practicing the vibration of the manifestation that is coming. Now here's the thing that we know that often you don't know that we so want you to know, and that is that everything you've asked for is coming. And the only question is, how long are you going to keep yourself from it? Do you understand that there is abundance, immeasurable, abundance not recognizable by most of you, abundance not yet experienced, let's just put it that way, by most of you, abundance for you, vibrationally queued up, and that all you've got to do, the only thing you've got to do is to practice the vibration of it, and it makes its way to you in so many different life-giving, fun ways. But you got to practice the vibration of it. And that's what trips humans up. We love you very much. You know what's coming next. But you don't, for the most part, practice the vibration of what's in your vortex. You practice the vibration of what's already manifested. And what's already manifest is a puny comparison to what's available to you. We have one small story to tell you, and we think it lays the basis of everything that we're going to be talking today really well for you. So, imagine that you're standing here as your point of attraction, and that law of attraction is going to help you rendezvous with everything that is vibrationally active within you. So it's like there's a pipeline between you and what you've been thinking about, wanted and unwanted. So we call this pipeline the path of least resistance, because as you think about it, you offer a thought that opens the pipeline. A thought that you hold for as little as 17 seconds is powerful enough. But once you cross the 17-second mark, we're not kidding you. This is precise. Another thought like it joins it. That thought's more powerful. So the path of least resistance between you and what you're thinking about is that much more. By the time you hold it for another 17 and then another 17, so you cross the 68-second mark, that path of least resistance is significant enough that there is going to be some demonstration to you if you're aware. The demonstration will come, you might miss it, but there's going to be some demonstration of the pathway you've laid. So, Esther has some beautiful water features in Texas. It's at the Abraham-Hicks Center. And there's a headwater in a little stream, and it comes down some rapids and falls into a bigger pond. And the stream was getting cloudy. And so it was finally determined, after trying a lot of different things, that the pipes that were putting the water back in, first pipes take it into the filter filters it and aerates it and puts it back into the stream. And those coming back in pipes were clogged. So the stream was cloudy. Couldn't see the fish. So they just laid some new pipes. Didn't dig the old ones up. They were buried really deep. Just laid some new pipes. Didn't bury them quite as deep. And now the pond is clear again. So we began saying to our friends, you friends, you may have some clogged pipes. Because if you're asking for things that aren't coming, it may be that you've got some clogged pipes. So it was a sort of fun analogy to play with. Let's get those pipes open. And the better you feel, the more your pipes are open. But then later the analogy began to evolve. And Esther heard us say, as she's listening back on one of the recordings, that those pipes closed up from neglect. And something about that just jumped out to her. And so she sat and wrote with us. She's working on a new book. We are writing. It's called The Grid, which really is the label that we're giving to what your point of attraction is. What are you doing? It's like a grid or a framework that's filling in with the details. But what are you vibrationally building? What grid have you established that is filling in with all of the details? And so, as Esther is thinking about these pipes that have clogged up with neglect, we said to her, there are things that you've opened a path of least resistance to that you don't want to rendezvous with. So why not let those pipes close up from neglect, lack of attention? And there are those things that you really want to establish a pathway to, a path of least resistance to. So why not keep those pipes open by attention? So we just want to say to you, in the simplest way, you heard that so completely, that any time you're opening a path that's leading to something that you do not want, every time, no exceptions, you feel negative emotion. And every time you're opening a path that's leading you to something you do want, every single time, no exception, you feel positive emotion. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. There isn't anything you need to know. If you are accepting that you are a vibrational being, and most of you are, there's not a shred of evidence to the contrary of anything that we speak, so accept it. Oh, that doesn't work, does it? Life will show you. Life will show you. So if you accept that you're a vibrational being, and if you accept that you're constantly emitting these vibrations, and that these vibrations, which are the same thing as your thoughts or your interests, past, present, or future, whether you're observing it or imagining it or remembering it, you're thinking about it. And if you're doing any of those things, you're offering a vibration, and if you're offering a vibration, then you're carving out a path of least resistance. So we began explaining to Esther that you've got 17 seconds to go down the wrong path a little bit. You've got 17 seconds before that momentum gets going, or before you reinitiate it again today, because you know what? And this is the most important thing. The paths that you've carved out before are irrelevant today. They're just easier to carve out today if you've carved them out before. But they're really irrelevant. In other words, it's today where all of your power is. So it's your propensity to lean in a direction of wanted or unwanted. It's your propensity to feel negative or positive. It's your propensity. Your mood is a propensity. It's not something that's stuck in your vibrational craw. It's not something that has been memorized that you can't get around. You are free to reset the button anytime. So Esther was talking to a friend the other day, and she said, I have something to tell you, but I only have 17 seconds to do it in. And we said, well, you've captured the spirit of what we've been talking about to some extent, but that wasn't exactly what we had in mind. Because we think if you're wise enough to know you're headed down the wrong path, you're wise enough to keep your mouth shut. We mean that in the most loving way. In other words, if you don't talk about it, you're going to shorten the path, or just let it clog up from neglect. Best conversation we've had so far about deliberate creation. And best conversation we've had so far, and by conversation we mean it because we're getting the feedback from you as we move along. Best conversation we've had so far about what allowing is. Best conversation we've had so far about what the vortex really is. Best conversation we've had so far about what contrast provides for you. And best conversation we've had so far about how you stand eternally in a place of evolution. And since that is true, it's time for you to stop taking negative score about where you stand, because where you stand is perfect. And friends, there is nothing that you cannot be or do or have. You just have to identify it. So how often do you say, I'd like to have that. I would like to have that. But, and what are the valid, by your perspective, reasons for the alternate thought that you are inserting? But I don't have time. As you argue for your limitations, or as you point out in further defensiveness that it isn't done yet, that's the thing you're doing that's practicing the vibration that's slowing the momentum, you see. So we know that words don't teach. Strange that we offer so many. And we know that you can only hear what you're vibrationally up to speed with. But it is our knowing that a whole lot of you are vibrationally up to speed with this conversation that we're having right now. There is nothing that you cannot be or do or have. We just want your heart to sing in the identification of it. Because when you are joyously identifying something that you desire, that means that you are vibrationally in the vicinity of it. And that means the fulfillment of it in terms of seeing it and hearing it and smelling it and tasting it and touching it is going to be way fun for you. When we say to you, you're not ever going to get it done, does it make you feel tired? Or does it make you feel eager? Jerry and Esther had a friend years ago who would say to people who were complaining about being tired, don't worry, honey, you can rest in heaven. And Esther would think, I really don't think that's right. I don't get the sense that that's what's going on in that non-physical realm. I think there's a whole lot of eagerness going. When you strike the right vibrational pose with yourself, you are then the receiver.